Every year, thousands of people dream of a better life beyond the border. But not all journeys are safe or regular. While everyone has the right to move from one place to another, today we shine a light on the hidden dangers of smuggling. Not of goods, but of human beings. Nigeria is Africa's most populous country. A nation pulsating with over 216 million people, is a landmark of stark contrasts. Prosperity and poverty collide, with 40% of Nigerians living below the poverty line. Desperation, unemployment, insecurity, peer pressure, economic downturn, and the hope for a better life drives some Nigerians to embark on dangerous journeys, seeking better lives across borders, both known and unknown. Today, we deep dive into a pressing issue hidden from the daily headlines: migrant smuggling, as we unravel the truths based on the report of rigorous field research in Nigeria by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime (UNODC) from 2019 to 2022, through its Observatory on Smuggling of Migrants. Migrant smuggling is the crime of facilitating another person's irregular entry into a country for profit. It happens when smugglers take money from refugees and migrants who want to travel abroad, in return for transporting them irregularly across borders by land, sea, or air, or for providing them with fake documents.
Our research focuses on the smuggling of Nigerians through intricate land, sea, and air routes to destinations like Europe and North Africa, as well as within the West African region itself. Migrant smuggling and human trafficking are severe issues affecting our region. While one involves consenting to illegal border crossing, the other deceives and exploits.
Imagine routes sprawling like a vast network, from the dusty trails leading to North Africa to the perilous sea voyages towards Europe. Whether by air, land, or sea, the routes are often fraught with risks. From Cross River to Cameroon, or across the desert from Niger Republic to Libya, dangers lurk. 30% of Nigerians surveyed abroad in 2021 considered that there was no alternative to being smuggled to achieve their migration goals. Some of those surveyed had considered other options before leaving Nigeria, including looking for a better job, moving to a new city, or starting a business. A few tried fleeing to a place of safety within Nigeria, and others tried to migrate abroad regularly.
Many Nigerians use smuggler because they are motivated to migrate and they do not have access to safe and regular migration alternatives, or are not aware of those that are available. In recent times, Nigerians have faced discrimination in Europe and other Western countries. This kind of discrimination shows up in the difficulties associated with securing a visa to travel regularly. The difficulty in obtaining visas to travel out of Nigeria pushes many to opt for the irregular route of traveling through the desert, with 85% of Nigerians surveyed abroad on migration routes using smugglers' services at some point or the beginning of their journey.
Using a connect, also known as a burger in the South-South, is often perceived as cheaper and more accessible than independent irregular travel, mainly due to the incidence of bribery along the route. Over one-third of Nigerians surveyed who had used a smuggler or facilitator did so because they thought it would be easier, and 1/4 because they thought it would be cheaper than traveling independently. Because of free movement within the ECOWAS region, many Nigerians make a combination of both legal travel within West Africa and illegal journeys to North Africa, Europe, and other destinations, sometimes using forged documents. Most smugglers of Nigerians on the various routes are men, with Nigerians surveyed in 2021 indicating that around 1 in 5 smugglers are women. Women carry out specific roles in the migrant smuggling of Nigerians, usually at a lower level in the hierarchy. For example, local agents identifying clients and providing accommodation, as in the case in migrant smuggling in other regions. Most local agents who organize regular and irregular journeys to the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Lebanon, and Jordan are Nigerian men, with office premises in Kano and other cities in the northwest zone of the country. The ages of smugglers vary, though a few, if any, children are involved, under 18 years. While many offenders are in their 20s, some are older, aged 30 to 60 years, according to interviewees in Nigeria. Perpetrators of smuggling from Nigeria and smuggling of Nigerians in transit countries are commonly of Nigerian nationality. However, in some cases, Nigerian smugglers work in coordination with Cameroonians or other West Africans from Benin, Ghana, Niger, Senegal, and Togo. The smugglers communicate by phone and in person, often by recommendations of friends and family, taking payments, promising safety, but delivering uncertainty. They weave through the communication networks, employing a mixture of fraudulent and legitimate means, manipulating the vulnerable with promises of a better life. Cash is paid upfront or upon arrival. Sometimes migrants even have to pay with their labor, trapping migrants in cycles of debt and despair. Fraudulent documents and payments to corrupt officials and migrant smugglers drive and sustain corruption. Did you know within ECOWAS you can travel visa-free for 90 days? But many need to be made aware, including some border officials. But ignorance of your rights may lead to abuses. The dangers? They are harrowing and real. From the Sahara's deadly embrace to the Mediterranean's treacherous waves, these routes are no stranger to tragedy. Well-developed networks of Nigerian smugglers operate on mixed migration routes and collaborate with European organized crime groups. Smugglers use different routes: land, sea, and air.
In West and North Africa, many smugglers work as a part of a network, with some coordinating travel from the point of origin to Europe, while others rely on looser connections with other smugglers. Smugglers operate in proxies, whereby a tour guide stands between the smuggler and the migrant. But actual smuggler's identity is never revealed.
Among Nigerians surveyed in West and North Africa in 2021 who used a smuggler or facilitator, 53% interacted with one smuggler or facilitator for the entire journey, 31% using a smuggler or facilitator for part of the journey, and 16% interacting with several smugglers and or facilitators for different parts of the journey.
Where multiple smugglers are involved in perpetrating the smuggling offenses, they carry out distinct roles at different levels of the group. Local agents who make the first contact with intending migrants, transporters, accommodation providers, procurers of these fraudulent documents, and dealing with the authorities. This includes those that ask for bribes on behalf of the migrants, of course, and connection men, who they are, as they are called, or the coordinators, or the organizers of the smuggling group.
Here are ways they communicate. Intended Nigerian migrants identify a local smuggling agent through relatives or friends in Nigeria or abroad, or word of mouth in their state of origin or residence in Nigeria. Relatives or friends may simply provide them with a local number for the smuggler they used themselves, or, for those based abroad, take an active part in organizing the journey and making payments to the smuggler. The smuggling routes. The routes are many, through deserts and seas. Smuggling routes lead to Zinda, Niger, north of Kano, Nigeria, and from there to Agadez, Niger. Recent research suggests that Taha, Niger, north of Sokoto, Nigeria, is also gaining importance as a smuggling hub, though Agadez retains its status as the most important hub. From Agadez, larger groups of Nigerians and other West and Central Africans board lorries and pickups to cross the border into Libya. Each pickup or lorry carries between 10 to 50 people. At the border between Niger and Libya, local southern Libyans transport Nigerians from Niger to Sheba, Libya, in Toyota pickups, while other smugglers, Libyan lorry drivers, transport both goods and people. Within Libya, smuggling drivers are usually Libyans, although they may be accompanied by Nigerian smuggling guides. In some cases, on entering the desert north of Agadez, Niger, smugglers split groups into men and boys, and women and girls, before reuniting them again in Libya. Who are the smuggled migrants? Most Nigerians who are smuggled are men, though Nigerian women, girls, and boys are also smuggled, in smaller numbers. Smuggled Nigerians are usually 16 to 35 years old, though there is evidence of Nigerians as young as 8 and as old as 63 years being smuggled. Among Nigerian migrants surveyed, there are relatively high numbers of people from the South-South zone in proportion to the state populations, particularly Edo and Delta states, as well as Lagos State in the southwest. Disproportionately higher numbers of Nigerians were also surveyed from the northeast, especially Borno, Adamawa, and Gombe, the northwest, Sokoto, and the southeast, Abia and Enugu. However, smuggled Nigerians surveyed originated from almost every state in the Federation, all looking for greener pastures.
In terms of what constitute the experiences of the migrants, in the course of our investigations, we were able to detect various patterns of maltreatment, abuse, and exploitations that the migrants experienced while making the move. And these were categorized into what constitute the push factors and what constitute the pull factors. For the push factors, basically, prevalent poverty was a common determinant for why they make the move, whereby an average Nigerian youth believed that those concepts that they were denied here, they are easily accessible over there. Access to jobs, access to social opportunities, what they describe as general concept of good life obtainable on the other side.
There are various dangers involved in irregular migration.
And generally, we're able to detect various patterns of abuse and exploitations, and even some of the intents resulted in outright death for the would-be migrants. And also, another issue we're able to detect is that when it comes to the issue regarding migration intent here, is beyond what we call physicality. It involves a lot of issues that transcend what we can actually use human eyes to capture. And generally, we describe the whole movement as a trial of the human spirit. Trial of the human spirit to the extent that the migrants were always ready to do anything to the realm of impossibility.
Yet, this crisis is not just about numbers. It's about people. Fathers, mothers, and children, each with a story, each a thread in the fabric of this global challenge. Behind the statistics are real human struggles, the abused, the exploited, and those who never make it.
Journeys from Nigeria to countries in North Africa that involve smuggling usually take months or even years.
Almost half, that is 46% of Nigerian migrants surveyed who used smugglers paid their full fee before departing. But it's not always cash. 17% were forced to pay with their labor, indicating exploitation and even forced labor. Smuggled Nigerians may spend time working in towns and cities in Niger and Libya to pay smuggling fees for their onward journey. Running out of money during the journey is a common challenge. Around 32% of migrants experience this, leaving them to rely on temporary jobs or agreements with smugglers to pay later. And while many face the hardships of irregular work, some women are pushed into sexual exploitation.
So on a general note, we're able to categorize 27% of the entire migrant population as individuals who funded their movement through the support of the family and the support of the community. And for those who sold the assets to be able to make the move, we had 23% within this category. And for the category of those who borrowed money from financial institutions and other sources, we have 13% that fell within this category. But in all of these cases, what was really particularly interesting is that the migrants were ready to source for money from any realm to make sure that their migratory intentions become realistic.
Here are some of the smuggling offenses. 1. Migrant smuggling. Transporting a person into a country irregularly for profit. 2. Smuggling-related offenses. Using forged documents or enabling illegal stay for profit. 3. Facilitation for profit, like transportation. Smugglers use buses and private vehicles to help migrants cross borders, often evading checkpoints. Accommodation. They provide temporary housing for migrants, assisting their irregular stay in countries like Libya to smuggle them onward.
The Nigerian Immigration Act criminalizes smuggling and related offenses in Nigeria. Nigerian Immigration Service monitors the borders, we intercept smugglers, and we conduct undercover operations. At national levels, we have collaboration that involves multiple agencies in the combat of this disease called Smuggling of Migrants. Nigeria's membership in ECOWAS grants free movement rights, but it also brings its complexities to border management. Border checkpoints with Niger and Nigeria faces heavy traffic and often requires vigilant monitoring. Here are some of our law enforcement initiatives that Nigerian immigration takes. We intercept smugglers and we cooperate with other agencies to strengthen border control. The Migrants Information Data Analysis System, which is MIDAS, also enhances data analysis, which helps in detecting smuggling patterns. Often, we also counter smuggling in Nigeria. It involves comprehensive monitoring, legal action, proactive intelligence. What this does is to protect the migrants and also secure our borders.
Here are key recorded abuses most Nigerians faced during their journey. Physical violence. Nearly half of surveyed Nigerian migrants reported suffering from physical abuse. Detention. 1 in 4 Nigerian migrants faced illegal detention during their journey. Sexual violence. 1 in 5 experienced sexual abuse or deprivation of liberty for extortion. Child vulnerability. Trafficking and exploitation. Cited as risks by almost half of the surveyed adults. Kidnapping. Reported by 30% of respondents. Violence and robbery. Physical and sexual violence as well as robbery affect children significantly. Deception and violence by smugglers. Broken promises. Many smugglers abandon their clients or deliver them to detention camps. Communication restriction, confiscating phones to prevent contact with families. Extortion. Families are often coerced into paying ransom for their loved one's release. Dire conditions. Survival hazards. Smuggled people face food and water deprivation, dangerous desert routes, and the threat of death at sea. Sexual exploitation. Nigerian women and girls are especially vulnerable to sexual exploitation as payment for the journey. Trafficking overlap. Smugglers often force migrants into labor or sexual exploitation due to their vulnerability. Other actors' abuses. Violence in transit. Kidnapping, extortion, and torture are common in Libya and Niger. Public officials' misconduct. Sexual and physical violence from security personnel and armed groups, especially targeting women and children, as well as asking for bribes and general corruption. It is important to think twice or get informed before making these dangerous journeys.
It's about creating options that are safe, legal, regular, and humane. We must dismantle the systems that fuel smuggling and instead build bridges of opportunity.
If you plan to travel, know your rights. Connect with legal services and understand the proper channels. Obtaining a passport legally helps you avoid engaging with criminal smuggling networks. Stay safe by using official channels and seeking proper guidance from the Nigerian Immigration Services, NIS. Freedom of movement in ECOWAS and safety from harm are among your fundamental rights as a Nigerian, and knowledge is your power. Stay informed, stay safe, and support regular migration. For more information, visit NIS website www.immigration.gov.ng and UNODC's website, that's unodc.org/CONIG, or call the NIS Contact Center at 091 21 900 655 or 091 21 556 359 or 091 21 477 092. You can also reach out to NIS through their social media handles at NIG Immigration on Twitter and Instagram. Join us. Be part of the solution. Let's make sure we all travel safely.